Hey everyone, it's Michael GoosebumpsFan. I hope you're doing well today. I have another book review for you, this time for a Series 2000 book. Of course, I've been working my way through the Most Wanted books. I think I am going to try to wrap those up sometime in the next coming weeks. However, the next one on the list, in order of the release of books that I haven't read versus the books I have read, the ones I need to review, I haven't read a Creature Teacher book, which everyone on the planet has recommended to me constantly on this channel, and I've wanted to get around to it. I wanted to get some of the worst looking books out of the way, so I had more things to look forward to. Of course, I'm a big GYG fan too, so I want to get around to those at some point. Anyway, I went back to read the first ever Creature Teacher book, Series 2000, number 3, Creature Teacher. Great looking cover. Really love this one. Yeah. So let me tell you this first, before I get to the actual book review. Really enjoyed this book, for the most part. This morning, well, let me really start back to yesterday. Yesterday, I had a little bit of a sore throat when I woke up. Also had a fever at 99.9, so yours truly had to miss work. And then today, I managed to get up at like 6 o'clock and try to get over to the local CVS pharmacy to try to get a COVID test. And guess who has COVID this week? Yours truly. So, oddly enough, my wife didn't test positive. I talked about this in some recordings I did for my other channel, or other channels. I did a couple of videos for some other video channels of mine. Anyway, so I tested positive, and so I'm going to have some free time this week. I'm going to be out the rest of the week from work, so I'm going to be at home watching the Scream movies and doing reviews for that on my Strange Michael channel. I'm going to be doing the episode reviews for the episodes of Goosebumps original show for this channel that I missed out on. I actually have one review coming out right behind this one. Hopefully a couple more by the end of the night. If not tonight, they'll definitely be out tomorrow. So I hope you guys will look forward to that. I'm looking forward to it because I have another one that I missed from a Tales to Give You Goosebumps episode that I just missed. I didn't know it existed. As far as I know, I looked through my episode reviews. I don't think I touched that one. Anyway, so Creature Teacher is the first review I have for Goosebumps books this week. I may try to get another one out this week at some point, just because I'm going to have so much free time. I don't know. Reading some other things. I'm reading a James Rath White book right now, too. So that's not a Goosebumps channel book review, but that'll be on my Mr. Wildboy 94 channel review. Anyway, I have a lot of content out there, and I have too many channels. I have too many channels. Creature Teacher, what is this book about? As I said, I enjoyed it for the most part. I had heard so many recommendations for this. I like Series 2000 books because they typically have a very dark nature to them, whereas the classic series has a very good blend of horror and adventure and body horror stuff, a little bit of kind of mild sci-fi, some adventure stuff, all kinds of good humor type books out there, some comedy books out there. Series 2000 took more of a dark turn, as you guys know, and Creature Teacher is one of those ones that kind of sticks in that general area. By the way, I'm kind of losing my voice a little bit from the relatively sore throat I had yesterday. I have a mild cough today, so if I cough a little bit, forgive me for that. Creature Teacher is essentially about a fellow named Paul, who is kind of a prankster, jokester, class comedian, class clown type of guy. I like Paul. Good, decent character. The jokester character that R.L. Stine typically writes. I liked him. It's a fine character. Basically, he has to go to boarding school, and his parents send him out there. His parents are pretty uptight types of people. They want him to go to a good school, and they send him out there, and basically, when he's there, he just... it's an okay, weird school. Boarding school, of course, you live there. There is a teacher, though, that he meets on his first day, and she's very gross, is the word to use. Her name is... how do you even pronounce her name? It's like Mrs. Mark, as in M-A-A-A-R-G-H, as in, like, you're yelling arg, as in you got hurt. Mrs. Mark, or Mar, I don't really know how to say her name. Anyway, she's disgusting. She walks around barefoot, but he happens to notice her feet are a little deformed. They have big black claws on them, and they're thick and gross and squishy, and the skin is squishy on them. Very gross stuff. Very disgusting imagery, and I will tell you this, there's a lot of disgusting imagery in here that really got stuck in my head. I'm going to be honest with you. In the first few chapters of this book, probably the first 25 pages, when he first encounters Miss Marg, I cringed out of my skin with the let me have a taste scene. If you've read this book, you know what I'm talking about. That particular line and that scene are the most cringy, horrific things I've ever seen in Goosebumps. I was so uncomfortable, I got chills from how disgusted I was. She's a really, really fat lady, too. She's also just disgustingly creepy. And he starts to notice really quick that this school is not like most schools, and the other students around him are acting a little weird. They keep saying things about Mrs. Marg being a monster and how he needs to escape as fast as he can. And Paul kind of thinks it's all a prank. He's a prankster, so he's kind of like, I get it. You know, I'm the new kid. I'll mess with you guys too. They're not playing around. They're not playing around. She's disgusting. She is a monster. And she keeps making all these weird jokes that the class don't laugh at. One of the particular jokes she makes all the time to Paul is that she's going to eat him. Or that she's going to eat somebody. Yeah. So Mrs. Marg apparently is a monster who eats children. And she has a list of kind of Velcro-covered names, you know, on the back of the pieces of paper that she has Velcro on. She has a list going down the board, and she, you know, Paul kind of assumes, reasonably so, that this is a list of, you know, best behaved, best, most successful student to the least successful, least well-behaved type of person in the classroom. That's not what this is. It's more about, and she doesn't really play by any rules. She just kind of moves the kids around all the time on this list. And if you're at the bottom, and she calls herself a bottom feeder, if you're at the bottom of that list, you're going to be the one that she chooses to eat, to massacre, to devour, you know. This is a very uncomfortable book, is needlessly what I need to say. There's actually some decent tension here. There's some really creepy moments, and like I said, some horrific, I don't even know if I'd call them body horror, just get under your skin moments in this book that really got to me and really got under my skin. This weird invasion of privacy thing that she's pulling really gets to me. And if you read the book, if you haven't read the book, you probably are a little confused of all the things I'm throwing hints at, but I'll be honest with you. This is one of the wildest Goosebumps books I've ever read in my life. I cannot wait to read the, I guess you would call it a sequel, but it's kind of a typical Goosebumps sequel, I bet, where you don't really cover the same characters and all that. In the Most Wanted series, when I get to read the other Creature Teacher book that exists, to my knowledge, it's the only other one. There's just this one and that Most Wanted book. But I can't wait to read the Most Wanted one. It looks like it'll be pretty cool. I think it's called Creature Teacher: The Final Exam or something. I hope it's good. I've heard it's a really good one, so I hope so. I really enjoyed this almost the entire way through. It is a relatively dark book. That's why I'm hoping the Most Wanted book is also dark. But I will say this. The ending sucks. I mean, the last chapter, the resolution to the situation of Mrs. Marg and all her crazy behavings. She's disgusting, she's vile, but that ending, that resolution, sucked. It seems like one of the type of Slappy World endings. You know, many of us are fans of the Slappy World current Goosebumps era, and many of the endings, if not like 95% of the endings of the Slappy World books, are terrible. They just are complete nonsense, out of the blue, wannabe plot twists that suck. And this is a great example of a terrible, awful twist at the end, too, that I hated, and it sucked. But the rest of the book I enjoyed, whether it be the cover or the actual story itself. I had a good time. It flies by. There's the pacing on this one is really, really good. It's just a really fun read. It's a dark little, I guess you could kind of call it a dark fantasy, but it's not like a fantasy like Lord of the Rings type of thing. Just a weird ship your kid off to boarding school type of story. A really good play on that. I enjoyed this a lot, and I recommend Creature Teacher if you haven't read it before. A really solid one. I really want to tell you, I'm very impressed with how good this was. Anyway, when it comes to Creature Teacher, if I had to rate this book on a 5-star basis, I would probably give it more of like a 3 out of 5 stars. I was not impressed with the ending. The ending would have had it if it was a better ending. I honestly would have put this up on a higher rate. I would have put it closer to a 4. But I can't. I can't with what it ended as. I'm not impressed with that. I give it a 3 out of 5. I wish it was better. I wish I could rate it higher, because I enjoyed it more than most of the 3 out of 5 star rating books I give 3 out of 5 stars to that I've reviewed here on the channel. But this is a really solid one. I do recommend it. One of the standouts of the Series 2000 books I have read so far. I haven't read many. I've read a few, a handful, but I haven't read many. And this is a decent one. I really dug this. Anyway, what are your thoughts on Creature Teacher? Put your thoughts and comments down below, folks. I also thought there was an episode review for this, or an episode of this on the old Goosebumps show. Apparently not. I think it's apparently what I'm confusing with one called Teacher's Pet, which is not the same thing. So, I have to try to move along to being bummed out that there's no episode adaptation of this, because I thought that would be a really good one. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Put them down below. Thank you for watching, guys. 3 out of 5 stars for me. What are your thoughts on Series 2000? What are your thoughts on Goosebumps or R.L. Stine or Creature Teacher or anything like that? I hope the Most Wanted book's good. Anyway, thank you for watching. God bless you. Goodbye.